Hey Cougars, how you doing? Mr. Montgomery here. We have been talking about still lifes and we have been talking about how to draw 3D forms. So today I'm going to talk to you about a few different items that you can find around your house to create your own still life for this week, and also how you want to arrange them on the table and then begin to start drawing these as 3D forms. So if you remember, a still life is just an arrangement of objects on the table that people throughout history have been doing, and it kind of gives us an idea on what things looked like back in their time. So I have a few objects here. I'm going to talk about each one and then show you how we want to go about arranging them on the table. If you have some fruit around the house, this is a fake peach, okay? I've got banana here, some grapes. If you remember the examples that we looked at from Frida Kahlo and Pablo Picasso, a lot of times artists will paint fruit. It's a great time of year that we could add a pumpkin or gourds. Okay, if you have some of these around your house, you can use some of these objects. If you have a favorite cup or bowl, this is one that I made, so I'm going to add this to our still life. This is a cement cylinder that I made for a sculpture project that I did. An antler, if you have something like this around the house, you could use that. There's no right or wrong answer for this. This is just an arrangement of objects, so I would say a minimum of 3 objects, okay? We want to have at least 3 objects. A vase with some flowers on top. These can make really good objects. So now when we think about arranging our still life, we want to make sure that we have kind of a center focal point. Okay, so that's like the first thing that you're going to see. So I'm going to have our flower vase as our first object. I'm going to put that in the middle of the table. And then all we really need to do is start adding some of our fruit and other objects around our center focal point. Okay, so I might take my grapes here and I'm going to add those maybe to the side. Okay, I want you to think about how close our objects are together, right? We want them really, really close, but we don't want them actually touching. I might take my pumpkin, maybe place that right here. You want to think about being able to see all of the objects from where you are drawing your still life from. I'm going to put my gourd back here, maybe lay it over on its side next to the pumpkin. Okay, again, really close without touching. We have our peach here. Maybe I'll put this over here by this fruit. Maybe put the banana behind. And then I can add this cement cylinder maybe to the back here. We should be able to see all of the objects on the table. And the interesting thing about still lifes is as you move around the table, you're going to get a different view of each of the items. Okay, so when we start to think about drawing our grapes, I want you to think about the sphere that we learned how to draw, okay, and shading. Again, if you are drawing a peach or an apple or perhaps a pumpkin, think about the sphere, okay? Start with a circle, start with an oval, and begin to shade. If you had something like this, we would think about a cylinder. Okay, I also want you to remember to think about the light source. Look at where the light is coming onto the objects. And then we have our shadows. And remember, don't forget to add the back of the table, because we can always see the back of the table. That's going to make our objects look like they are grounded. I hope that you all have fun finding some objects around the house, creating your own still lifes. They're really good practice. Keep practicing your forms. I can't wait to see what you all come up with.
All right, friends, so I have added the image that I'm going to be drawing from my still life in the top left so you can see what I am drawing. I'm going to start with the object closest to me. So that would be the grapes because it's in the front. Okay, I'm not drawing every single grape. I'm just starting with some ovals And then I'm going to add my shading after. Okay, I'm moving my eye around the image. Okay, as I move over, I see the peach. So we're going to go ahead and draw kind of an oval type shape for that. Okay, the next object we can see is the flower vase right in the middle. Okay, I'm looking how close the flower vase is to the peach. It comes up from the grapes. And I'm just trying to do the outline. Okay, remember to sketch lightly. If you happen to make a mistake, you can erase. Okay, next thing we see is the pumpkin. It kind of sits right next to the flower vase, and it's right above the grapes. And you can just barely see the banana behind the grapes next to the peach. We don't want to add anything into our still life that we cannot see. Okay, the cup, the mug, I'm looking at it in relation to the pumpkin and the gourd. The mug is behind the flower vase a little bit. Now I'm just adding a few details that I can see on the flower vase. Okay, I'm going to start with my leaves for my flowers. Okay, I'm moving my eye around the still life, looking at all the objects. I'm trying to just get the idea of the flowers. And when we do these still lifes, we want to make sure that we can fit our whole still life into our piece of paper. Okay, that's why we practice. If your flowers go off the page a little bit, that's okay. There's another large flower on this left. Behind this flower on the left is the cement cylinder. Remember to sketch lightly. A part of the cylinder is covered up by the flower on the left. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that in. And now what I'm going to do is start adding some shading. So we're going to add some of our value. Value is how light or dark something is. We add value and shading to make our objects look three-dimensional because we are drawing forms. The peach is sort of a sphere type form. Okay, add our shadows in on the table. I'm just darkening little parts of the grapes. And I'm going to add my shadow in on the table. Shading the gourd. Now there's some interesting light that reflects onto the flower vase. I'm just sort of adding those highlights that I'm seeing. And beginning to shade some more areas. See the banana. I'm just refining my drawing here, adding some more details. And then really the last thing that we want to add is the horizon line or the table. You can see the table on the edge of the table comes up, and then it sort of trails off to the right. Okay, and that is our still life. I hope you enjoyed that, and I cannot wait to see the still lifes that you come up with objects from your house.